Hey everyone, welcome to Creating with Jazzy Bundles. Today we are going to make corner fold cards. Let's get crafty. My name is Jenny and this is Creating with Jazzy Bundles, the channel where we take our simple supplies from your neighborhood craft store or favorite online retailer and turn them into one-of-a-kind pieces of art. If you like this video, hit subscribe before you leave and ring the bell to be the first to see our new videos. And with that, let's get started on today's craft. For our corner fold cards, we will need the following supplies. Cardstock, and I have cut my cardstock. You will need 2 sets of squares, one that is 2 3/4 inch by 2 3/4 of an inch, and 2 cut at 2.5 inch by 2.5 inch. And I cut my 2 3/4 inch square out of designer paper. And then you will need one 5 1/4 by 4 inch piece of cardstock. That's for the inside of the card. And then for the card itself, you will need an 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, and we're going to score it at 4 1/4. You will also need a scoreboard and a scoring bone. You will need either a ruler and an Exacto knife or a paper trimmer. And then whatever you want to decorate your card with. I am going to use waffle flower. They're Easter stuff. So I have the postage collage bunny silhouette dies, and then the egg hunt sentiments and the dies for the words. And with that, let's get crafting. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to score my 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 piece of paper at the 4 1/4 mark. And then fold it so that the hill is on the inside. And use my bone folder to smooth it out. So now we have our card base to be able to work with. Now you will need your paper trimmer or your ruler and Exacto knife. And we're going to cut it at what we're going to do is we're going to line it up at 3 inches and then cut from 2 1/2 inch to 4 7/8 inch. Then we're going to turn our paper 90 degrees, line it up at the 3 inch mark again, and cut from this time 3 inches to 5/8 of an inch. So the first thing we'll do is we're going to open up our card. Line it up at the 3 inch mark. We're going to cut it from 2 1/2 to 4 7/8. We're going to turn it 90 degrees, line it up again at the 3 inch mark. We're going to cut from the 3 inch mark. And this time cut to 5/8 of an inch. And we should have a card with a little flap in it. Now to make the corner fold. You're going to take it, fold it so that it goes towards the inside. And you want to make sure that you get your lines nice and straight here and here. And I'm going to use my bone folder to flatten out my edges or my corners. Now, if you accidentally cut too far in on one of these sides, don't worry about it. By the time we get it decorated, no one's even going to see it. So here is our corner fold card. Now it's time to decorate. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our squares and glue them together. And I'm using art glitter glue. It's my favorite glue. A lot of people also use barely art glue. And the reason why people like these two glues probably among the most is because of this thin applicator tip at the end. All right. And we'll glue the other one. All right. One thing I wanted to say about the card is when you are cutting it, your first one, you might want to practice on printer paper. It's a lot cheaper to mess up a piece of printer paper than it is a piece of cardstock. So until you figure out exactly which 90 degrees to be turning it and where your markers are on your trimmer or on your ruler with the Exacto knife, it's sometimes easier to just go ahead and use a piece of printer paper. Okay, we are going to take one of these squares and glue it on the outside here. So that we have a nice border around the outside of it. And then we'll glue one on the inside. Again, making it so that there is a border. And by gluing this on the inside, it also makes it so that the flap doesn't flap around so much because it's partially glued on the inside. Now we're going to glue in our insert on the inside, which again is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And now that can be ready to go as well. All right, now I'm going to decorate it, and I've decided that this is going to be an Easter card. So I've got my die cuts already cut out, my little bunnies that I was going to do, and my sentiment and my grass. So I'm going to first glue down some of the grass. And we'll cut it off. on either side. All right, and now I'm gonna have, I would really like to have my bunnies colored. So I am going to use some Memento ink. I've got Cantaloupe, Gray Flannel, Morocco, Peanut Brittle, and Rich Cocoa. We're gonna color the bunnies. So I'm just gonna use some washi tape to hold these bunnies down while I am coloring them. And I'm going to put them over here so that they can be seen. So have you guys started decorating for Easter yet? No, it's maybe a little early. Maybe you've decorated for St. Patrick's Day. I'd love to hear what you're doing. I did make a couple of St. Patrick's Day cards. One of them I show over on my TikTok account at Creating with Jazz, J-A-Z. And then the other one I actually made during our live this last Wednesday. So if you want to go and watch that, you can see I use the waffle flower postage stamp die cut. Okay, now that these are all taped down, oh, just kidding, I have one more. Suddenly my tape doesn't want to come off. There we go. So when you do your cards, we would love to see them on Creating with Jazzy Bundles. Post them on our, share them to our Instagram account or our Facebook page. Whatever you want to do, we would love to see them. All right, now to color these, I've decided I'm going to use these brushes that I got. You can use the bigger brushes. I have some of those also. And I use them for larger spots. But since these are smaller bunnies, I thought I would use my smaller brushes. So with my flannel gray, or gray flannel, I'm going to color in this little bunny here. And it's always good to start off your paper and then circle onto the paper. Otherwise, you get a really dark spot where you have gone onto your paper. So start off of it and then circle and slowly come up onto it. All right, then I'm going to take my cantaloupe and again starting off the bunny and circling back on. Okay, my yellow one. I'm going to start light and work my way up to the dark brown. So we'll start with peanut brittle. And we're going to do this one. Okay. For this one, I'm going to color 2 of my bunnies, and I'll show you why in a minute. Okay. And rich cocoa. Okay, that is all of the decorating of my bunnies. I'm going to leave my favorite peeps as white. So now I'm going to clean up my workstation here quickly. Okay, now it's time to glue down these bunnies. And I wanted the jumping ones going through the grass. If I can pick it up. So I'm going to start with this gray one here. I didn't put the pin in. All right. Now these other bunnies, I am going to put here on the front. Put him down at the bottom. Put her up here at the top. And I'm going to put these two on the back side of the square, just so that there's something in here. Now to put my sentiment on, and I'm going to use some 3D poppers to get it to stand up a little bit. And it's gonna go right here in the middle, right above this bunny's head. And there we have it, our Easter card. I hope you had fun today and learned something new. Be sure to leave a comment below to share your favorite part of the video. Click subscribe and ring the bell to be the first to see our new videos. If you enjoyed this video about making corner fold cards, we have a whole playlist about fun fold cards. And if you want to check out our other videos about cards, check out this playlist here.